up to speed in regard to this issue. Giving it time, seeing no response, we'll close this public hearing at 6:25. There is no old business. We'll move on to new business, which is an introduction and readings of bill number 2026-04, annexing certain territory into the corporate limits of the city of Odessa, Lafayette County, Missouri.
You skipped old business.
Oh, I didn't I? My bad. Back up. Discussion time. The EC update. Last.
All right, so I just wanted to give a very high level update for the ECA discussion. So just a quick historic update, I guess. So I've tried to do a little background research into how we got to where we are today. So I looked back at the ordinance as far back as I looked was 2005. So we've had an ECA ordinance since at least 2005. So in 2018, we hired BHMG engineers to look into our electric rates. So we hired them to look into our electric rates because we were under the impression, or not even under the impression, it was just a fact that our electric fund was running into the red. So we were, using up the reserves at a very exponential rate. And the reason why this was happening was because we, after we quit generating electricity, the new rates that they imposed after we stopped generating electricity didn't account for the fact that we were receiving like credits basically from when we purchased our electricity, we received credits back and we didn't account for that. So we lost those credits whenever we stopped generating. So our rates weren't accounting for that. We were losing revenue and we needed a pretty significant rate adjustment. So we hired BHMG in 2018. That was also the same time that we decided to change our fiscal year. So in that time frame, we had an 18-month fiscal year. So it was very difficult for BHMG to get a good picture of what our finances were at the time, because they were it was a weird snapshot in time. So what they did was in 2019, BHMG proposed a rate change in 2019 without technically having a full rate study at that point in time. So in 2019, a new ECA ordinance went into play. So I could see in the minutes that the engineers proposed or mentioned that even though we've had the ECA rate since 2005, we hadn't been charging our residents for the ECA. So we had an ordinance, but we weren't actually charging residents for it. So when BHMG was presenting to the board in 2019, that was one of their findings was we need to actually charge your residents for the ECA rate. So they provided us with a new ordinance in 2019 for an ECA. And then at that time, they also provided us, or it's my assumption that they provided us with the ECA formula as well. So since 2019, we've had the exact same ordinance and the exact same formula since 2019. In 2021, they finalized or finished the rate study. The only change to the ECA ordinance in 2019 was that MOPEC changed their billing. So the base cost changed at that time. So the 0.888 that we keep referring to changed to the 0.802 in 2021. But the ECA ordinance and the ECA formula stayed exactly the same. So to summarize everything for you, the ECA formula, the ECA rate, or ECA ordinance and the ECA formula have been exactly the same since 2019. So I guess my point in telling you this history is telling you that the interpretation of the engineers in 2019 was that this ordinance matched this formula. So it's an interpretation question that we have right now, and that's what we're investigating. But at this time, I just have that update for you. We need a little bit more time to continue our investigation. You have any questions right now?
I don't know that this is necessarily a question. It's more of an agreement and a disagreement. There seems to be quite a storm has been created. As we all learned, the finance committee learned earlier on the ECA, pretty much just what it said. I took and Bruce took advanced training classes on being an alderman. And in these advanced training classes, one of the classes was, we learned how cities are transparent. And the city of Odessa is doing everything it's supposed to be transparent. This was pretty much presented that they're not, which has created quite a storm that the city doesn't need. I agree. This needs to be something changed. This is something that needs to be investigated. To flat say the city is stealing or only very much from the public is incorrect. And to say it was, if this isn't something that was done purposely. Correct. I'm choosing words. In our advanced classes, there's also the one that took on social media and the dangers of social media. And being an alderman and using your personal account, social media account to do city business. It was very much a you don't do this. Social media is a big thing now. It's what everybody does. It's the way everybody communicates with everybody. It's the new party line. I guess one thing I would like to state, when we get our agenda on Thursday or Friday, and this is just me, so I can only speak for myself. I don't go through mine with a fine-tooth comb looking for gotchas. Because the city is putting, and anything the city's doing is out there for the public to see. And I understand there's a lot of people who don't agree with this, but they are. What you stated earlier, like it's finance meeting, this is being investigated. maybe. Maybe it'd be nice if that got put out there a little. It's my soapbox.
Anybody else?
I appreciate you bringing that up, Mike. I never said the city was stealing anything.
No, you didn't.
This has been a long conversation
You
with
didn't.
the city administration. A long conversation over the course of several months. The choice that I felt that the Board of Aldermen is facing, because the 6 people here are the ones responsible. Okay. We could kick the can down the road and add to that balance due. Or we could resolve it without adding to it. This affects the budget. Sure does. Okay. It doesn't need to affect next year's budget. It needs to affect this year's budget. The response that I got was, we'll wait, we'll do the rate study next year. And it was what, November, December, when the board voted to do the rate study this year, not next year. Those numbers are important information that the engineer needs to consider as part of his rate study. That forced that information to have to come out this year for him to study, for him to have as part of that rate study. So there's no choice but to present it to the Board of Aldermen, who have the responsibility to correct it. Shauna is absolutely correct that this error has been going on since 2019. Okay. The engineer has agreed that it is an error. It's being miscalculated. Okay. It doesn't make any difference how it happened. It happened and we need to fix it.
I agree.
So, I mean, you can disagree with bringing it to the Board of Aldermen, which I did. If I did not, no one would know about it. It would still continue until someone brought it up.
From what I understand, though, that the numbers for the rate study are not back yet.
I think we have preliminary numbers from him, but he's still working on it.
No, we don't have any preliminary numbers yet.
Okay.
That's pretty much my point. The numbers aren't in. And that's been stated more than once.
But how does that impact the numbers that he needs to complete? What's your point?
In all fairness, he was looking into our rates, and the ECA is a part of the rates. And he started in November. He was looking into it.
So what's your point? He should have the information to complete it after he completed it and revise it? Or should he have it in order to complete it and give us accurate information?
I believe we need accurate information.
So he had to have it.
From what I understand, they're still working on it.
He is working on the final product. And now he has information that he would need to complete it. That's part of what he needed to complete.
Anybody else?
I think the general point, all we can do is fix it moving forward at this point. But the general point is that the issue at hand is that we have the difference of interpretation between an engineer in 2018 versus an engineer today. But it is an interpretation issue, not a miscalculation. And that was the main point, is up to what I wanted to get across.
The spreadsheet actually goes back to 2016, correct?
Right.
Which they needed because of the 12-month rolling average that it uses. They needed the first year to calculate rolling forward. So that spreadsheet actually began in 2017. Where the first ordinance was in 2019.
Correct.
So the formula was developed before the 2018 ordinance, not simultaneous to it.
Correct. There's a 2018 date on when BHMG started working with the city of Odessa. And they would have been able to collect data from the city of Odessa before they started working, but that information could be provided to them. So. Either way, I do believe that the information came from when they were contracted with the city. So.
Anything else for Sean on this discussion? Anything you all want to discuss among yourself? Thank you, Sean. All right. What was I? Oh, now I did it. New business. All right, this is an introduction and readings of bill number 2026-04, annexing certain territory into the corporate limits of the city of Odessa, Lafayette County, Missouri. I would take a motion to approve the reading of bill number 2026-04.
Make a motion for the first reading of bill number 2026-04, annexation 0126 North Ed Road.
Have a second. Alderwoman Star seconds. All in favor? 6-0. All right, any discussion? Alderman Wilson.
So, I'm all about growing our city, and I do think it would be beneficial to our board, me and the rest of the board, and the residents to hear the pros and cons of annexing the property into the city limits. Would you be able to speak to that?
Yeah, you come on up, Ed.
And maybe one, so the pros and cons is what's in. So what I'm looking for is, well, you can go ahead and then.
Sorry.
Adam Couch, 408 East Main Street Terrace, this is Missouri.
Can you turn the on button on?
It should be on. You just have to kind of get close.
Sorry. What was your question again? I apologize.
So, the pros and cons of annexing to the city, and then why this property and not the whole other. So you can separate that out however that's best.
So the pros, so from the city standpoint, the pros are obviously growing the boundaries of the city itself. I don't think the city is annexed. I don't know when the last time the city annexed property was. It's
The
been-
MoDOT shed is the only one.
Yeah, that's significantly. It's been a long time, so to me, that's the pro, is that, we're growing the city itself. The other pro is that, we're wanting to do it, into residential, single family residential, so that, creates more housing opportunities. Which, create a larger tax base, for the community. Cons, it probably costs a lot more to develop it. For us, I honestly hadn't thought about pros and cons necessarily from a city standpoint. But. Yeah, I'm not really, I couldn't tell you what the cons would be from a city standpoint when it comes to that. I'm not saying there aren't any, I just haven't thought about it till I stood up here at this podium. So,
Sure, that's fair. And then, so because the RV park is also gonna be around it, then, was there a reason maybe that you didn't want to annex the whole thing and part it out? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I've
well,
been at that too.
One is that, we have the, crypto mining facility there on site, and that needs to stay in the county. That's where Carmen's with, and, that keeps us with West Central Electric. When it comes to that aspect. Two, I don't know, I know that part of that is, the city's comprehensive master plan, I believe, is all commercial through there. So it would fall in line with that. But when it comes to, any future developments that we do with the RV park itself, it's more beneficial for us to stay in the county itself rather than bringing the whole RV park into the city.
Thank you.
If I, come up with better answers also, Bob.
Thank you.
Anybody else got a question for Adam? Was it there? Alderman, was it?
I'm in favor of the annexation. But I gotta tell you, I'm really disappointed that you're not bringing the store and the RV park into the city. If you build 100 homes, and let's say that they spend each home spends $10,000 within the city of Odessa. As we heard in the workshop, streets are financed or funded, street repairs are funded by the transportation sales tax, which is half a cent. $10,000 at a half a cent is $50 per household that they're paying for a year to fund their street repairs. That's not gonna go very far. What's that cover? 2 inches?
Not very much.
So it's disappointing to me that you wouldn't bring your commercial property into the city to help your customers who are for the RV parks. They're mostly out of town people. For your customers to help us fund the street repairs, the police that are gonna patrol your development, and all of the other city costs that we're going to have. Are you planning at any time to bring that into the city? I understand, business, if your cost goes up, whether it's sales tax or something else, that's gonna turn some people away. But what we're looking at with annexing your property is a build it and they will come philosophy. It's gonna bring in some commercial business just by Odessa growing and having more people, and we'll get sales tax from that. But that's extended down the road. We're gonna spend money to maintain streets on your property before that development gets here to pay for it. That makes sense? So I'm just disappointed that you're not bringing it into the city.
I understand. I appreciate that.
Anything else?
I haven't him, but I have a question for Charles.
Adam, thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
So how much revenue is this projected to bring in? What's the city gonna get if we annex this? Have you crunched any of those ROI numbers to know what it's gonna cost us? What yearly projection we can, even if it's 15 years down the road, what property taxes could look like?
Well, we have, Kathy, do you have that spreadsheet still?
I'm trying to pull it up.
Okay.
Just a minute.
We do have a property tax spreadsheet she can pull up, but we wouldn't have, the likelihood of water's pretty low. And it's already West Central Electric. Well, the property owner technically gets to choose if it's West Central Electric or City of Odessa. So based on our current development standards, I won't say, but
So there's potential we're not gonna get water, we're not gonna get power,
yeah, so sewer would,
but in sewer,
the developer would connect to our sewer, so there's not a cost to connect for us there, so.
But we only get sewer revenue, we don't get any other utility revenues, and then we just get property tax revenue.
Correct.
So I
And then
calculated
sales
some of that
tax.
property tax revenue, if he's able to get city sewer, he could put 4 or more homes per acre on that. Gives him, what do we figure? $36,000 a year in property tax revenue is all the city will see.
That's a significant amount, technically. That's a very significant amount.
Sewer, streets, police. Would we still be required to put our own power in for city lights, or would we be paying Central Electric for city lights? How would that work?
It would not be, if the development is provided by West Central Electric, the lighting would be also West Central Electric.
So who would pay for that now? The residents? Or would we have to pay for that because it's a city street?
I would honestly have to check. We don't have any entire subdivisions that are provided by West Central Electric, so I don't know the answer to that.
I'm not necessarily against this, but I am a little concerned that the city hasn't done and asked some of these questions themselves. And just want us to
Right.
annex it without it.
But there's also not there's a maintenance cost down the road in 20 years after we've had $36,000 times 20 of revenue. So there's not a cost either to adding this. There's only a gain, so. That's
So we have sewer at the front door already.
Well, and the developer has to pay the cost to connect to the sewer, and the sewer runs within 50 foot of the parcel. So,
Alderman Olson.
So one thing you said, there's not a cost at the beginning, but once it's annexed, it's annexed.
mhm.
So then, police patrol if needed. I mean, those are actually expenses.
Mhm.
So there's,
Animal enforcement.
there will be some expense,
Correct.
so.
I was thinking like the significant expense, like completely renovating a street. Those larger expenses would be later.
And so with that, let's call this, with our ordinances and our rules, whatever it's the plan, the developer has to pay for the streets. All of that is not a bill that we would incur.
Correct. Correct.
There's intangibles that go along with this too. Developers, especially grocery stores, look at growth of a city. As the city grows, they're more likely to have more interest in coming into Odessa.
Mhm.
So there's intangible to look at as well.
Yeah, grocery stores specifically go off of rooftops. That's how they look at where to go and if they should go, is quantity of rooftops.
And I would agree with that. But I would also argue that the developer is gonna develop it whether it's annexed or not. It's just if it's annexed, he can put more homes on smaller property and make more money off of it. Whereas if it's not, he's gonna have to put sewer in himself, and that makes his lot size have to be twice as big.
Are we talking about, I'm looking at the map, and we're talking about the area in blue, inside the blue area?
Further discussion? All right. Let's go on to the second reading then. Introduction to readings of bill number 2026-04, annexing certain territory into the corporate limits of the city of Odessa, Lafayette County, Missouri. Second reading, I need a motion to approve as an ordinance.
Move to accept bill number 2026-04 as an ordinance.
Got a motion to second, roll call.
Who seconded?
Alderman Starr.
Okay. Alderman Placky,
Yes.
Witsit,
Yes.
Polson,
Yes.
Crabtree,
Yes.
Kerrigan,
No,
Star.
Yes.
Motion carried, given ordinance number 3168.
All right, moving to the next bill, introduction and reading of bill number 2026-05, rezoning property located along the North Outer Road from agricultural to R1, single family, within the city of Odessa, Missouri, in accordance with chapter 50, zoning of the city of Odessa, Missouri, Code of Ordinances. I'll take a motion for the first reading.
I make a motion for the first reading of bill number 2026-05. Rezoning RZ 022026 West North Avenue.
Got a motion, need a second?
Second.
Alderman Whitsitt seconds. All in favor? 6-0, discussion.
Assessed value stays at agriculture until there are homes built on it. Is that correct? Each individual home changes the assessed value to residential, and the rest of it would be agricultural.
Okay, repeat the question again.
You have a 50 acre parcel. Initially, it's zoned agricultural, which is what it is now. I think it was 6,000 some odd dollars was the assessed value of the 80 acre parcel. Let's say you have 50 acres. Well, that 50 acres is zoned agricultural. You build one house on it. That one house is now assessed. I said it's owned, but it's assessed as at residential. The rest of it remains agriculture. Is that correct?
Well, the assessment would just be based off of the valuation, so it would just be the growth of the one house of value increase.
Yeah, for that one house.
Yeah.
That would increase, but the rest of it would be agricultural and assessed as agriculture.
I guess that's one way of looking at it. It would just be kind of like a net, I guess, net zero. Yeah.
So are you trying to, so this is for the Nerds property?
No.
No.
Oh, this is still, oh, so I thought this was Nerds. No, sorry. Am I?
Yeah, so you're trying to remember the tax bill, the assessed valuation of the agricultural portion, I think was $6,116. Well, it's 60 cents per hundred. 61 times 60 cents is $3.70 a year in taxes that we would get from it as agricultural property.
But it would,
We all get additional taxes when homes are built on it.
right. It would still be assessed as ag until there's any new construction on it.
But if we rezone
Yeah.
it, it would
Yeah.
no longer be ag.
Yeah.
It would be R1.
But it's still gonna be assessed as a net zero, same assessed as it is now, until there's new construction added to it. And at that point, when new construction's there, it's not gonna be one parcel anyway. It's gonna be individual parcels for each lot. So it'll be assessed individually anyway.
Further questions? Discussion? All right, move on to the second reading. Introduction and readings of bill number 2026-05, rezoning property located along North Outer Road from agricultural to R1, single family within the city of Odessa, Missouri, in accordance with chapter 50 zoning of the city of Odessa, Missouri, Code of Ordinances. I will take a motion to approve the second reading as an ordinance.
Move to approve bill number 2026-05, second reading as an ordinance.
Alderman Star seconds. Roll call.
Alderman Holson,
Yes.
Crabtree,
Yes.
Kerrigan,
Yes.
Star,
Yes.
Whitsitt,
Yes.
Plackty.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried, given ordinance number 3169.
Next up, introduction and readings of bill number 2026-06, rezoning certain property from I1 Light Industrial District to C3 Highway Commercial District within the city of Odessa, Missouri, in accordance with chapter 50 zoning of the city of Odessa, Missouri, Code of Ordinances. I will take a motion to approve the first reading.
Make a motion to approve the first reading of bill number 2026-06, rezoning RZ 03-2026, 411 North First Street.
The motion is second. Alderman Kerrigan seconds. All in favor? 6-0. Discussion. We do have representation here. If you want to ask them questions, we'll bring them up. Alderman Platt.
Thank you for doing this. That's my discussion.
I was gonna say, Kenny spends a lot of time there now. I can't imagine what's gonna happen when it comes along.
They give a master class on customer service. Any discussion? Okay, very good. Let's move on to second reading. Introduction and readings of bill number 2026-06, rezoning certain property from I-1 Light Industrial District to C3 Highway Commercial District within the city of Odessa, Missouri, in accordance with chapter 50 zoning of the city of Odessa, Missouri Code of Ordinance. I would take a motion for the second reading as an ordinance.
Move to approve bill number 2026-06, second reading as an ordinance.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Alderman Kerrigan,
Yes.
Yes.
Crabtree, Paulson,
Yes.
Star,
Yes.
Whitsitt,
Yes.
Plackty.
Yes.
Okay, motion given, or motion carried given ordinance number 3170.
Thank you both. All right, time for discussion on 1912 Development Group LLC 180 days extension.
So the 1912 Development Group has put their formal request in your packet. If you have any questions, Adam's here to answer them for you.
Okay. Adam, you just will come on up. Questions for Adam? Or anything you'd like to say?
I think, so it's another 180-day extension on the building permit and, the letter of credit. We have submitted our site construction plan, to the city engineers for approval, for review. We did get some comments back, or a comment back.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's officially come back yet.
Yeah, we're working on implementing the city utility comments with the engineer comments to get an official letter back to you.
Okay. So that's been submitted, we're waiting on that to come back. Otherwise, we're finishing up some of the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, design work, and then some of the low voltage stuff. And then some of the smaller, design details. And then kind of a side project, that we've been working on a little bit, actually a lot of it, is, one of the things that when we made our presentation was that we, the goal was 55 and older, senior apartments. Obviously, we wanted to keep some of the character of the building. We wanted to save the building, but restore it to some sort of functional capacity. And as we got into it and started seeing the expenses of it, how much it's gonna cost, and then looking at what rates, what rents we might have to charge for that. It's not that the project became not feasible, it's just that kind of the scope had changed. And so we felt like we were going to have to increase occupancy or rent to do that, which again, it would still keep the building, it would still serve the community for years, and we would still restore it as much of its original capacity as possible, which would work. But we got away from the 55 and older and some of the historic preservation stuff. One of the things that we've been working on for some time now is how does it look to get back to being able to do something like that? And we've had some meetings, and actually probably about 2 weeks ago or so now, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I signed a contract with Heritage Consulting, and we're kind of taking a side path along with the path that we've been going down. And the side path is that we're going to apply for historic preservation. We're gonna try to get it on the state and federal registry for historic places. And we're going to apply for the tax credits that come with that, as well as federal, state low income housing tax credits. And what that would do at that point is that would lock us in at 55 and older tenants. If we choose that track, which we would, and that would also basically force us to keep certain characteristics of the building. So our original design, the design that we have now, basically splits the gymnasium into 2 floors. We won't be able to do that with the historic preservation tax credits. We'll have to keep the gym as it is. We'll be able to clean it up and do all that, but we won't be able to split it in 2. Part of that too is that I believe it's the dog kennels, the cafeteria building, the other brick building, that would most likely have to remain standing as well. Corridor,
Not the shop.
not the shop. No. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that for sure, but they kind of given an overview if they don't have to stay, but the corridors down the hallways, those would probably most likely have to remain the same. And then just details like that. We went ahead, signed that contract with them. They specialize in historic preservation. They are actually part of the group that did the assessment of the building back in 2013. And wrote the initial report for it. Did it on the registry, I believe. So I'm really excited about this. I'm very confident about it. The timeline is we would apply for them in August of this year. They would make the award in December. Originally, I thought the award wasn't going to come until June of next year. The award would come in December of this year, and then we would close on those tax credits and that project June of 27. And if everything's ready to go by then, we would be able to start construction immediately on the project. What it would do is basically reduce rents based off of median household income levels. We would be able to offer different services at that time to residents that would stay there, whether they're needing help with budgeting, rides to doctor's offices. There's different programs like that and support, as well as different kinds of veteran services. For any veterans that would be staying there, it would be a mix. The units would be a mix of basically market rent as well as affordable housing rent. It would be pretty much limited to those who are on fixed retirement income. So it's something that kind of as we've gone through this process and I've learned things, and I am very cautiously optimistic. We're still going down the track that we have been going down, just in case something falls through. But to me, this is exciting because it gets us back to where we were wanting to be as developers and as a city. And what this track gets us to where I think is what is best for the community as a whole and serves the need that we have here when it comes to senior living. We have a site visit scheduled for Wednesday. They're going to come down and site, and then we'll set timelines and get going. So don't let my demeanor fool you. I am very, very excited about this. You know, I stood up here excited before, but I think I'm hoping that this goes through the way that I'm envisioning it going through, wanting to go through, because it will be exactly what we've been wanting.
So are the tax credits necessary to complete the project?
I don't believe they're necessary to complete the project now.
The historic landmark, when did you say that would be completed? When would you have the designation? You apply for?
I'm not sure on the exact designation of it. I was just talking, the timeline that I gave was the tax credits. Themselves.
Would we get a historic designation for this?
Would we?
Yeah.
I believe it qualified in 2013, and so yes, I feel like it has a very, very good shot, and so did the consultants that have worked on it previously. In fact, one of the project managers that is going to be assigned to this project did the original report in 2013. So
That'd be good.
unless the only thing that would change what happened in 2013 to now is if the building has undergone any significant changes other than the water damage that it's sustained.
So what's remaining that's necessary to get the letter of credit?
Budget. An accurate budget to the banks. But I don't think we're that far off from it, so. Either way, we'll still be out on building permit, demolition permit.
Do you think within 180 days you'll be able to have that budget together?
Based off of the last few times I've been here, no. Realistically, I'm not sure, Bruce, I'm not sure. I would like to think that we would be. I would like to think that we'll have everything stamped and ready to go.
Well, reflected. Make it 180 days. The board can do whatever they want to do. If you're all in agreement, that can, the majority.
I was wondering about just getting rid of it completely. Not giving him a timeline. We don't give anybody else. A timeline. The Hill doesn't have a timeline. So why does Adam have to have a timeline? I mean, is that asking too much?
Well,
They got it for $100,000.
It doesn't matter what he got it for.
I thought that was more reasonable to give to us to teach.
So you'll be talking about changing the contract then?
No, just changing it so that he doesn't have a time, like 180 days.
so would you?
What if we give him 365 days?
Is 180 in the contract though now?
Oh, I know, is that? Yeah.
It was 180 and it's been, this would be the fourth extension.
So just get rid of it completely.
In lieu of like quarterly reports or what? Updates or?
He can give us updates every 6 months. I don't know. I'm just saying, it just doesn't seem like we need to have him come here every 180 days and ask for an extension.
Adam, what was the December deadline that you said you would receive an official notice by? You said December of this year, you would have an official notice of something?
They talked to them today and we'll apply in August and then we'll have December will be the award. Yeah. And for what it's worth, I'll come back every 2 months if the actual life of the project wasn't held up. So
You don't have to answer this, but I'm just, if you would, it might help. How much have you got invested into this right now, and how much do you anticipate this project is gonna cost? And you don't have to answer if you don't.
there's been a significant amount of engineering and design done. And engineering is not cheap. Structural, all of that, it's been pretty expensive. it's well in 6 figures. As far as the building itself, I think it'll be north of 10 million.
So to Mickey's point, what's the history of the original sale? We've got the $100,000, that's been
Mhm.
paid.
Correct.
So why did the board originally set it up that he has to have the letter of credit? What's the purpose of the letter of credit?
It was my understanding that. If there was once closing happened and we took possession of the property, if there was a failure to develop the project, that board would have two options. As far as the development default, one would be reconveyance. So we had a quick claim be produced that's being held in escrow currently. So there's that, and then this letter of credit, that would be, to the city. In the amount of cost of the project. If we were to default, we would go through the cure process of 30 days, I think, notification. And then that, I think that could be extended up to 90 to cure the default once we're officially notified. And then at that point, the city would basically choose one of the two avenues to remedy basically the default. It's either the reconveyance, the city takes the building back, or the letter of credit. And so we'd had discussions. That's when the letter of credit or the reconveyance came back that, you know, if the city were to take the building back, then it would have to go to an appraiser and all that. And so that's when we agreed that, and I say we, us, the city agreed that if the building permit hadn't been pulled, then we would just.
Yeah, and I think that kicks in once you start getting permits to do things.
Correct.
So it's there to ensure that the project is completed.
Yeah, I understand that, but as much money as they've spent on it now, it's gonna be completed. I can't help but think that. I mean, that's just me.
I mean, I think that the assurances are important and it, you know, it is a significant, a part of the community and it was, or is an asset of the community. But I think the 180 days is an unreasonable pressure to put on a developer that's investing into our community and investing in such a important asset to our community. So I don't see any harm in lightening the reins just a little bit, but still having a point in time that, you know, we do need you to come back, you know, with an update for us. But it doesn't need to be, it doesn't need to be, there's a fear component that in 180 days, if you don't do this, you're done and everything you've invested is a wash. So I think that,
You think like 12 months, 18 months, but just range.
yeah, for an update on the project. That's my suggestion only. It's your decision as the board.
Okay.
So I know there's stipulations in the contract, you can't apply for tax credits and whatnot. Have we checked that to make sure the tax credits he's applying for don't nullify that contract?
That's in the contract, that's any sort of economic.
Oh,
or
incentive.
tax assistance with the city.
That's what I was making, I just want to make sure that stayed with the city, that was not federal or state.
Right, I didn't see anything.
I thought it was the city as well.
Yeah,
That is a good point.
and yeah, I appreciate, because
I didn't want that
also.
to have you.
About that. Just to speak a little bit about the 180 days. And this isn't just, you know, I talked with the mayor and the city administrator about the time frame and things like that, and I'm not necessarily in favor of getting rid of it completely. I understand from your perspective having that assurance, and I understand that, and so I don't know that I would even advocate for eliminating the time frame completely. You guys are accountable to the taxpayers, and I understand that us completing this project is kind of paramount to the whole process that we've been through here. What I will say is that as we've gotten into it, what I have fallen into is as I get work back from an architect or an engineer, I don't feel like I have adequate time to really sit down and review it and make my own comments and our own changes and things like that. Because it's such a quick turnaround time. And then knowing that not only do we have to look at it, our engineers have to design it, but then it has to go through the city review process. And what I found myself doing is taking things that normally I would spend quite a bit of time on, and kind of just making sure that light switches are in the rooms or whatever, or that they have USB outlets now that you used to not have to worry about. And then just passing it off. And I would like to get away from having to do that, especially if we end up with these tax credits. I really want to be able to hammer down on details of the project, even more so than we have been. It's still gonna be a good project regardless. We'll still do it right, but there is a little bit of a fear component, knowing that it could go away at this point, but that's just kind of that's just kind of a thought process that I've had as we kind of move through some of this, but.
Are you gonna be able to handle both projects at once?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Alderman Stark.
So do we need to make a motion to make it of what? What's reasonable? A year?
365.
Huh?
365.
365? Okay. Let's make a motion to move this, to approve it for development group for 365 days. Does that sound reasonable? to Everyone?
Is it
You've made a
reasonable?
motion. Motion's on the floor to approve, for a motion to approve the extension for 365 days. Got a motion? Second? Alderman Clark, second. All in favor?
Opposed?
All against?
We didn't ask for discussion.
Oh,
We were-
okay, gotcha. Understand.
We've just been discussing.
Well, not after the motion.
Okay. Is there any discussion? We don't have to close this out yet. Go ahead.
Yes, so my question is, I'm okay with that, but I do like the idea of updates, so I don't know,
Oh,
can
yeah.
we include that?
Yeah.
Should it be included in there, or?
I think that's
is
a
it-
wise idea.
If we go the tax credit route, we're gonna need letter of support from the city. We'll need,
That's it. I
we'll
mean,
have to have that aspect too, so, and again, I have no problem.
I didn't know if we could. Start that work, so.
so
I
you wanna
didn't
do it
Do it.
365 with an update every,
I didn't-
Until,
you-
You made the original motion, revise the motion.
I know, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to think now, 6 months ago.
How often?
Yeah.
Updates
I mean-
how often?
yeah, discuss that.
What do you feel like you would have new information for us that we would like this 6 months fine? I don't want you to come here, feeling like,
Yeah, no.
I don't have anything new yet, so.
I'll tell you, if you give us 365 days. I can come back. I don't mind coming back once every 3 months or 4 months and we're sending out an email from a date.
4 months?
Are you gonna do it every 4 months then?
That'd be 3 times.
Have you had time to everybody?
Do you want in person or is email acceptable?
Oh, I'd say in person, because that way we get to see.
I can be here in person.
All right,
All right, revise your motion.
I revised my motion, 365 days with Adam showing up every 4 months.
For nothing.
for an update. That good.
Sounds good.
Okay, we have a motion, we have the same second. All in favor? 4 against? 2. Motion to approve carries for 365 days, having to come back every 4 months.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Next scheduled meeting is Monday, March 9th, 2026. Right here at 6 o'clock. Right now is the time for Aldermen to request new items for the any upcoming agenda. No requests, all right. Now we will adjourn to closed session.
Make a motion to move to closed session in pursuant to RSMO 610.021. Legal actions, causes of action, litigation, or confidential attorney-client communication in pursuant of RSMO 610.021, number 12, seal bids, related documents. Until bids are open, seal proposals, related documents, or any documents relating to a negotiated contract until a contract is executed or all proposals are rejected.
Do I have a second?
I'll
You gotta
second.
repeat all that.
Oh, no.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Holson,
Yes.
Crabtree,
Yes.
Kerrigan,
Yes.
Witsit,
Yes.
Placky,
Yes.
Star.